Hello and welcome to PDQ's House of Oddities. This is the first time ever on history there's been a recording done with two live recordings, stereo, coming from my schizophrenic mind. Anyway, I'm Byron, the big one, and we had one thing to introduce here first, a show about psychos. Oh yes, I love psychics. Huh. What are psychics? We're going to find out in just a few seconds. You watch and see.
Jack, you and Eileen and I get a chance to talk to many, many people as psychics throughout the year, and through our experiences with people, we've come up with some very wonderful, rewarding experiences, and at the same time, very weird and wonderful and unusual experiences. My particular experience that I felt was very strange and wonderful at the same time was when I talked in different languages of people whose countries I've never visited, to people who I've never seen in person. I was doing phone readings, and all of a sudden I began to sing a Hawaiian song in Hawaiian, in the Hawaiian language, and get the tune exactly right.
You were on the phone doing this?
I was on the phone doing this. I was talking to a gal who's lived in Hawaii all her life. Her people are Hawaiian. And her grandmother was singing this song through me. Now, her grandmother was on the other side, which made it even more strange and unusual. I do not know anything about Hawaiian music, except, what is that song, Tiny Bubbles? Yeah. Again, this happened when I was talking to an Indian gal whose grandfather was coming to me, again from the other side. And I was speaking Apache before I knew it. And also, he was telling me what the Apaches used to cure cancer in his day and time. Yes, some herbs, and that was fascinating. What has been your most unusual experience?
Oh, gosh, I've had so many of them.
What was the one that really scared you? It was so...
The first time I left my body.
Uh-huh.
And I found myself up on the ceiling, looking down at myself, and totally terrified. I had never had it happen before. I had never read anything about it. I didn't know that people could do that. And the very first time I experienced it, I can't tell you the terror I felt.
What was your most unusual experience, Jack?
Well, it was about 20 years ago, 22 years ago. I always thought that the psychic realm was weird. I never really believed that much in it. Someone told me that I would read and I'd be a psychic and all this stuff, and I said no, I didn't really think that would happen. And I was here in St. Petersburg, and I was asked to go to a seance, a trumpet seance. And I had never been to such a thing before, and I thought, well, it's going to be fake. I mean, this is just naturally what I thought, because I'm naturally a skeptical person anyhow.
How long ago was that?
About 22, 23 years ago.
Mm.
And I was sitting there were about 15 people in the room, and the trumpet was sitting in the middle of the floor. The lights were all out, but then they put a red light on so that you could indeed see. And the first thing out of that, all of a sudden we were sitting there meditating, and the trumpet flew up in the air. And I was looking around trying to find out where the wire was. Well, I was so sure, you know, I was so sure that it was fake. And out of that trumpet, it came right almost up to me, and it said, "Jackie." Well, nobody calls me Jackie. It took me years and years and years to get rid of Jackie for Jack. And it was my mother's voice. And she had been in spirit like maybe 4 or 5 years.
Said something that really is very meaningful to me, that in the beginning it's very disconcerting and scary and frightening when all these things happen, and then all of a sudden there comes a time when it's just second nature. You get you get these things happening constantly, and you accept it as part of...
You're right, and I have to tell you this. You're saying getting so used to it. A couple, 3 weeks ago, got up during the night, and I was walking up my hallway. And I'm so used to spirit being in the house and seeing people that as I walked by an entity, I said, excuse me, because it was like I bumped into him. And I thought, dear God, if anybody saw me or heard me, they'd think I was crazy. Because there was no one there, of course, that they could see.
I thought I was weird when I was young because I knew things before they'd happen. I'd see spirit and I'd feel things and nobody else felt them or heard them or saw them, and I was the weird one.
Mm-hmm.
And you still are.
I'm still. It's true. It's true.
But we've all been through that. I think anybody that works as seriously with the psychic realm as the three of us do, we are always told, I'm frequently told, well, you're crazy. But see, people say that because they don't understand.
They don't.
And they're terrified of it, so therefore they down it. I like the crystals for energy.
Mm-hmm.
There's several there. Most of them were apports. And an apport, for those of you that don't know, is an object that is brought from spirit. It's taken from the earth plane and taken into the ethers. And then spirit brings it back again. And most of them have been apports. And the energy in them is tremendous. If I really have an upset stomach or I'm nervous, I'll pick up a rose, there's a rose quartz pyramid there. I will pick up the rose quartz and I'll hold that. And then I don't have a stomach ache.
This is the rose
pyramid
quartz, the rose quartz pyramid. Which is the stone from Atlantis?
The big one.
Big one. Wow.
That was brought to me from spirit about 3 years ago, and it weighs about, at least 15 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, when it came forth, it hit my waterbed. Had it hit the floor, it probably would have shattered into a million pieces and broken the floor.
And what would you feel a bad psychic is?
Somebody, I've just had an experience this past week. A young woman came to me for help because she had been for a tarot reading, and the psychic told her that she felt that her last brother and she herself were going to die in terrible, horrible automobile accidents. Well, this woman had lost her parents and an older brother to an automobile accident.
Mm-hmm.
She was devastated. She was terrified. She was waiting for her brother to be killed any day in a car accident. I don't think that that's very professional. I don't think it's what we're here for.
What we have are God's gifts to us. What we do with them, that's
our
where
responsibility.
Right.
It's our responsibility what we choose
We
to
each
do
come
with
into
them.
this lifetime, and you were talking about the dark forces, and yes, I agree with you. We need to know those things. But if you meditate on a regular basis, and I'm not saying every day, I'd love to say I do it every day, I don't. But if you meditate on a regular basis and you surround yourself with the love and the light of the Christ, then there's no way that that negativity is going to keep bombarding you. It just won't.
This is an area going into the light where people who have had near-death experience describe universally. You can go to any country
Right.
where they speak different, everybody speaks a different language, put them all, these near-death experiences in one room, and they'll describe pretty much the same
Exact
thing
same
over
thing.
and over again. I think Edgar Casey summed it all up when he said, if I gave one bad reading, I would stop. And I feel that we're all in tune with that energy.
I do too.
I do too.
Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.